Hi everyone and welcome to Hostile Territory. In this video, we'll be talking about something that is very dangerous in a toxic and hostile workplace, and that is gossiping. So, I hope this video helps. Stay tuned.
Hostile territory.
Before we start, I would just like to mention a couple of words of what gossiping in fact is, and I will put this in layman's terms. Gossiping is a form of human communication where one person does not want to sincerely express their feelings or opinion about the other person. Instead of that, they go and express those opinions or feelings to a third, fourth, fifth person, to a group of people, and so on. That would be the short definition of it. When you look at it that way, you'll see why gossiping is illogical, essentially. Nevertheless, it is a trait of human nature, it is inevitable, and it is all present, especially in a workplace. There is no company that is immune to it. Gossiping is essentially someone telling information about you to other people. By its nature, it's not bad. There are, from what I've seen, two types of gossip. The first type is the harmless one, where someone is talking harmless information, okay, and this borderline small talk. And there is the other type, which we will be talking about in this video, which is very dangerous, where people tell information about you, which are oftentimes blatant lies. The type of gossip where people can be harmed, people can be left without work, and so on. This is what we will be talking about. Now, if you work in a toxic and hostile workplace, your life is already complicated enough. You have to constantly keep your back against the wall. You have to navigate through that bad environment. You have to keep yourself safe. That is exhausting and a problem on its own. If you enter a circle of gossiping, where you either listen to it frequently or, even worse, gossip yourself, you will only add a serious problem to that list. How does this happen? We'll start with the listening part. If you, for instance, are sitting down in the cafeteria or somewhere, I don't know, this is an example, or you're having your breakfast and someone sits beside you who likes to gossip and starts to gossip about that third person. If you don't get away from that person or ask in some way for them to stop, what you are essentially doing is approving that, okay? You're listening to that gossip. Now, you may say that is harmless. Sometimes you may even get some sort of information or heads up on some things. But what you are essentially doing when listening to it is approving what that person is saying. That is how the brain of the person who likes to gossip functions. So if he or she tells you that information and you essentially listen, it is enough to listen to it, you approve to it. So if you listen to it, you essentially approve the gossip. The next phase is to comment on what is that person gossiping. That is another bad thing you should avoid. So if that person says about the third person, he or she is bad, she does the job this way, did you hear what happened, and so on. The best thing you can do, if you can't in any way avoid commenting, is to give some sort of neutral comment on the whole situation. So you'll say, that's what happens. I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, that's bad. Do something that has nothing, more or less nothing to do with it. Don't express your opinion in any way, okay? That's the best way to react to that. But even that should be avoided. But the third worst thing you can do is to start counter gossiping and including yourself into that conversation, okay? And starting to say things like, I don't believe, I knew it, I knew that person was like that, I knew, and so on and so forth. And you start sinking into this cesspool of misinformation and possible future problems, okay? So when someone approaches you with gossip, the best thing you can do, since you're in a toxic and hostile workplace and people don't like you anyway, is to just simply get away. Ask that person either to shut up, okay, close their mouths in a polite way perhaps, or just pick up your food or your coffee or everything like that and just go, okay? Even if it happens during work, okay, in an office for instance, just try to get away as soon as possible. Now, the next thing I would like to talk about is how gossip is dangerous regarding the information it gives and what consequences it can have. Gossip, by its nature, is misinformation. It is, in most cases, a bunch of lies. Yes, sometimes, as mentioned, you can get a heads up on certain situations and you can get some information in advance, but that is like from personal experience, that is 5% of the time. The rest is just misinformation, lies from envious and jealous people, people saying all sorts of horrible things, and so on. And I would like to say this on this part: it is incredible how appealing those things are to your ears when you hear them. It is like some sort of drug or something. And this is very dangerous. So what people do when hearing that gossip and taking that information into consideration, always know that 95% or 99% of those informations are lies. At best, you should take it with a big grain of salt, but in most cases, it is not worth listening to. The next thing on this list, why it is important to avoid gossiping at a toxic workplace, is that you might be in for a setup. In what manner? People in a toxic and hostile workplace, in extreme cases, will want to get rid of you as soon as possible. If they see that you like to gossip, that you like to talk a lot about other people, they essentially have a free pass of getting rid of you. How will they do this? Well, in the era of the smartphones and all kinds of gadgets, you can easily record someone what they are saying. And for instance, what will happen and what is the probable scenario is that that person will lure you into some sort of conversation where you will start to talk and gossip about some other person, and this can get you in trouble. For instance, the usual scenario is that through some sort of small talk, someone will try to lure you into a conversation about your boss, about the management, about your coworkers, about the paycheck, about the benefits, or something else. It can even be your sincere opinion on it. Someone may record that and bring all of that back to your boss, to your management, and everything else, and reproduce it. Now, this does not mean that you said anything bad, but in most cases, since you're working in a toxic workplace, whatever you have to say can be used against you, okay? So my point here is avoid talking a lot altogether, especially gossiping. Always know that there may be someone pressing that record button on the phone, recording what you're saying, and then reproducing it to someone else. The most important rule regarding gossiping, and always remember this: what goes around comes around, as the old saying goes. So, if you're ever tempted to gossip other people, know that the audience listening are the same people that will gossip about you. So whatever bad, misinformed thing you are saying about someone, which gossip most times is the same thing that other people will talk about you. Think about that every time when you want to spill that kind of information to people. This is one more very good reason why you should avoid it. And this is one very good way to get gossip out of your system. For the end, one more bad thing about gossiping is that you will lose your dignity. Now, you might say why this is important in a toxic and hostile workplace. Who cares? Nobody likes you anyway. But this is from personal experience, so take it or leave it. I noticed that when you have integrity and dignity, people tend to stay away from you for certain reasons, okay? Although they do not think much about it, people in fact do take that into consideration. And after a certain period of time in a toxic workplace, if you keep that dignity and if you keep that integrity, it will keep you out of a lot of trouble. People will stay clear of you, okay? People who like to gossip and do not have that integrity sort of sense that and steer away from that as much as possible, because every time they see you, they see what they lack. So if you want to keep your dignity and integrity, avoid gossip. So dear viewers, that's it for this time. Sorry about the bad English. Obviously, I'm not a native speaker, but I do my best. I hope I managed to relay the message. All in all, avoid gossip. In life, in a company, especially in a toxic workplace, it's not good. It is tempting to do it. Again, it's a trait of human nature. It is inevitable, but at least watch how you behave towards it, okay? In a toxic and hostile workplace, all it will bring you is additional trouble and nothing else, especially if you're the one gossiping. You can expect something bad to happen. Also, remember that you can lose your job thanks to gossip if certain events set into motion. All in all, you can make yourself a lot more miserable and you can even lose a job. So that's it for this time. As always, I hope these videos help. Please take care of yourself, take care of your health, and know that in whatever situation you are in a toxic and hostile workplace, it will pass sooner or later. Thank you for watching and thank you for your time.